AI is going to be the most polarizing bloodbath of the last 20 years. It's going to be really incredible. It's going to happen really fast. And there's going to be people on all sides of these issues.
All right, real quick, this is Video Brand. Special thanks to our sponsors for helping make this NAB coverage possible: Metricool, Massive, AdSpective, Vestigit, and OpenReel. All right, now back to the video.
Adobe's really building a system, Firefly, that is a generative AI solution, and that's part of our ability to make sure that there's copyrights considered with that, provenance. These are things that are really important to the Adobe brand to make sure that those things are considered. But you still have to recognize that this is an inevitability, right? And so what everyone has to think about, my advice to cinematographers and photographers, creatives in general, is to really recognize that an enormous percentage of images today that are shot or recorded is going to go down. The percentage of things that are photographed or recorded in the world for productions is going to go down. Now, news and sports is different because you can't generate news and sports. But when it comes to narrative and elements like that, there's going to be a big change. And so you want to position yourself at businesses and companies and technologies that really support a world where we're going to be able to generate so much more than we could possibly imagine, right? And it's going to change even things like actors' contracts and the legal ability to buy someone's likeness.
Right.
And generate that instead of pay them to shoot it. This is going to be really, really different. And so I'm excited about that opportunity. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I'm pretty certain it is going to be a significant reduction in overall production because it'll be cheaper to generate it than to shoot it. And productions that are looking for that kind of savings are just going to go right there. If we fight this technological change, I think it'll be a miss. If you exert the wrong amount of calories and the wrong issues, you're going to end up wasting energy and still find yourself in a tricky situation. So lean into it. Much like 10 and 15 years ago and 20 years ago with digital cinema, people fought it. There were people that said, I'm not shooting anything unless it's on film. What a silly argument, right? People said, we're not shooting 4K, we don't want 4K. What a silly argument. Some people still argue we shouldn't have HDR. Silly arguments, right? And they're wasting energy on small issues. The big issue is going to be, what are we going to generate? What are we going to shoot? Well, how's that going to change? And when we edit, are we going to edit it or is it going to edit itself? Computational editing is going to start to replace a lot of the creative editing at some level. I'm not trying to say it's good or bad. I'm just reporting the weather here, and it's. I don't actually know how it'll play out, but I'm trying to position myself from a posture of learning and listening, and I think Adobe's doing the same thing to try to learn and listen and position ourselves to be considerate of the situation. But it's a lot of unknowns, and if we just sit back and see how it goes, I think a lot of creatives are going to put themselves in a compromising situation. So my advice is be proactive, learn, read, try it, test it, and figure out where you can fit to make sure that on the other side of this transition, much like digital or 4K or files or tape or whatever, you are on the side that has growth and opportunity still affiliated with it.
And when you say you think we're going to actually film less and produce overall less, are you thinking that we're going to turn more into we're generating backgrounds and filming people, and then that gradually shifts to maybe we're just people are generated too? Is this we're kind of just compositing? We're going to do more compositing and different elements in the future?
No.
Or just type in, oh, hey, change our background to we're in space?
A lot of people have seen camera tests where they have camera A and camera B, and they post it and they go, this was shot a test of camera A and camera B. Can you tell me which one's better? Can you tell me the difference? People love doing that. What you're going to see in less than 3 years, is this human a human? Or is this just generated?
Is the Pope really wearing a white puffy jacket?
Right. Yeah. And if you can't tell the difference, and we start to take this beautiful generative AI and start to apply it at 24 images per second, which will inevitably happen, then all of a sudden we can start to generate actors. We could generate images. I mean, advertising agencies and fashion won't pay for supermodels. They'll just generate a supermodel wearing the items, and they won't have to paint out wrinkles. They just won't generate wrinkles, right? And it'll be easier and faster to do that than to pay someone $1 million to be the model, right? And a photographer $100,000 to shoot that. I know that disrupts the market, but this is what it's going to do. Again, I'm not saying I'm necessarily in favor of this. I'm just saying it's inevitable. And so When humans are actually generated in motion and you can't tell the difference and it's easy and fast, then something like a sitcom, would a studio rather pay 7 actors in a sitcom $1 million an episode, or just generate them and pay them nothing an episode, right? If it's just a sitcom with a laugh
thing
track.
with the generative models, it's sort of based on stuff that humans have already made. So like, do you still feel like there's like the spot, like where does the human creativity come in if the algorithms are possibly editing the videos in the future, or generating the people, but generating things based on whatever we fed it, based on stuff we created. So like, where does the human creativity fit in the future?
And we generate what gets generated, I guess, right? And we draw from all these experiences. And that's part of what Adobe Firefly is trying to do, is make sure it's cognizant of where these images come from, where that stuff comes from. Look, I don't have the answers. I'm just saying that this is an opportunity where creatives the right creatives will find a way to make sure that they're relevant in this change. They always do. Right? When digital still cameras came out, people said, oh, that's the end of photography. Not at all, right? It just changed, right? Same with digital cameras. Oh, this is going to plummet the quality of cinema. No, it actually made it better quality, right? The same thing will happen. And we just have to be open-minded to what this is going to unlock and figure out how to make sure that our creative impressions, our creative opportunities, our creative outlets are still there, but they're going to be in a different envelope. And that's the opportunity. And that's going to ruffle some feathers, and it's going to create super new, amazing things we never thought of before. Even down to the feed that you scroll is given to you via algorithms. What if the same show produces what a person A likes versus person B? If person A, likes a certain type of drink and shops at Ross, that'll be in that, and if person B likes a different drink and shops at TJ Maxx, it'll be that version. And it's the same show. Yeah. Like, those little nuances become possible, and they become automatic. And it just knows what zip code you're in and what's there, and if you love Taco Bell, your credit card knows that. It goes on. I mean, all this stuff gets factored in, and all of a sudden they're eating Taco Bell in a show, and they're eating at Chili's in the same episode of a different region. That's going to happen. Now, people got to get behind that and make sure it works and make sure it looks real and make sure you suspend disbelief and you have great stories to tell. I think all that still plays out, but the way in which we deliver it is going to be a little bit less hitting record and saying lights, camera, action. That's going to change a little bit. And I think we've learned a little bit from the video game community, because they generate these, images and videos and edits and stuff like that. These are all things that are early versions of this, and things like Unreal Engine and Unity, they're gonna be really, really powerful things. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, this will be a good conversation to look back on 10 years from now and see what the deal is.
Yeah.
So cool. Thanks so much, Michael.
All right, you got it.
Thanks. Thanks for watching the video. For more of our NAB coverage, be sure to check out the playlist right here and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode.